Welcome back. We have part 2 of Leta versus RuBy, and we just are picking up. We saw Leta sort of repel with his dropships a incursion by RuBy to his third base. Sort of tipped his hat about how many dropships and where they were sort of headed, and it does look like RuBy needed to know that information because he already has that entire eastern part of his main base entirely walled off from drops. I think that he's probably seen Leta play before.
Yes, he has, and I'm sure he's enjoyed every minute of it. But he's got a sizable force coming in while Leta's dropships are away. He's got a couple of Vultures, a couple of Goliaths, and about 5 or 6 tanks, but he's running into siege tanks, so he's going to be at a little bit of a disadvantage, and I think those tanks are able to repel that whole force, and the dropships are probably going to be able to clean all of this up.
Oh, very nice cleanup job by
Yeah, it looks like only one tank might get away. I think he will be able to get away, but maybe he's going to have more coming. I think it's not going to be wise for him to continue this attack, but likewise, I think Leta should pack up his dropships and move on to more harassment. But he looks like he's feeling comfortable and pushing in directly into RuBy's forces. He knows RuBy is a little bit weak right now, and wow, he had a lot more tanks in those dropships than I thought.
Yeah, well, 4 dropships, and I think he's moved up some from his base. I think really he's just trying to feel out the middle of the map at this point. RuBy's owned a lot of it so far, sending the most harassment over, and now it's time for Leta to go up there and see what RuBy has sort of established. He took out that one feeler turret, and now he might be able to send some dropships maybe up the western side.
Yeah, it looks like he's going to take his 4th, and that could be a turning point in this game, because so far it's been very even. I mean, RuBy had a little bit of map control just because he had more tanks on the map, but Leta had his own sort of map control with his dropships, but still no economic damage done. So if Leta's able to put up and maintain a 4th base, then he's going to get a big edge. But once again, he's going to have to repel a pretty sizable force by RuBy. It looks like his tanks are going to be wiped out by those Vultures and, those tanks, but those dropships are coming in for a counter.
Every time we see them, one more dropship is in the group.
Yeah, he's been constantly producing dropships this whole time. RuBy's now switched away from Goliaths, and it looks like he's producing more Vultures and doing his work with Spider Mines, which I think is a pretty good idea. Just because he has been trying to control the map on the ground, he needs those Spider Mines to slow any attempts by Leta, and also if he gets some Spider Mines around his bases, he might be able to stop those drops a little bit and surprise some of them. But it does look like he is building a few dropships of his own. But once again, Leta is getting this 4th base. Oh yeah, now it looks like RuBy's going to take his as well. So, Leta, if he's able to scout this out and stop it with his dropships, which I think he's in a good position to do, will be in a major lead. But right now, he's having to use those dropships to defend.
Yeah, he's looking more at a long-term game at this point. He's not really trying to put in any sort of death blow. I mean, it'd be hard to do with both players spread out this far across the map. So it looks like the battle for the center sort of continues. We do have some sort of movement, by RuBy with a couple dropships. He might just be feeling out that expansion down there, and seeing maybe he needs to defend, his 4th base. And with how much he's already got a couple turrets up even for Leta's huge barrage of his fleet of dropships. So.
Right, and so far it looks like the map control is just being pretty much split evenly. Oh, we got a big dropship matchup coming on here. It looks like Leta does have the advantage in terms of numbers, but RuBy has a couple of turrets to fall back towards his main base. Leta is just well in position, and RuBy's having a hard time to push into it right now. It looks like Leta is taking a little bit of control of that center of the map. But like I was saying, it looks like Leta has, he started in the southwest and has taken that southeast and kind of expanding that route, while RuBy started in the northeast and has expanded to the northwest. So he's going to end up sort of getting the upper left half of the map, I guess, and Leta's going to have that southeastern sort of part of the map. all in all. And it's really going to come down to who can stop a base. And it looks like Leta's taking charge of that right now. He's going to be able to kill this command center. This is going to give him a pretty huge lead right now. He's got his 4th base. I believe it's up and running. But wow, and RuBy's actually taking that very aggressive 4th base of his own. Now that he just lost his matching 4th, he's taking another one up in what is going to be, what's the 3rd expansion of the southeast position, if that makes any sense. So it's actually pretty close to his main, but the way the map's laid out, I think it should technically belong to that person in the southeast. So that's going to be easy for Leta to counterattack against.
Yeah, certainly. And he's going to be right up against Leta, so there's probably going to be quite a bit of tension right there. It looks like it's all pretty peaceful right now. It looks like I think he's got that 4th base staffed and everything right now. So, and here comes.
Yeah, and it looks like he's dropping a 5th. Yeah, I think that is his 5th, and I believe that's the natural of the southeast expansion. But now he's sending his dropships into the front lines of RuBy, and he's going to be able to take that out. He's going to be able to press almost all the way into the. Well, he's probably going to press all the way into that new base that RuBy is trying to establish up in sort of the, I don't know, 2 o'clock position. But RuBy is bringing in his own dropships to try to defend that. Since he already lost 1 base, it's very critical that he defends this base if he's gonna have any economic success.
Definitely, and now we see Leta just sort of hanging out, probably wants to get a little bit bigger force before he tries to press in there and see exactly what RuBy has going on. It's interesting to me to see Leta sort of take these swipes across the center of the map and just try to clear out turrets. It seems like that's not a strategy RuBy can rely on in the long term, to sort of build turrets up across the map and come to like a false sort of sense of security, because obviously Leta can come in there real quickly and clear that entire standing defense out.
That's true, but I mean, it's all part of the Terran slow push. They need to move in with their siege tanks, and they need some sort of air defense. But since both players do have a good number of Goliaths, then they've got some air defense. Maybe the turrets aren't as necessary as if they were sticking with vultures, but still, those turrets are good to fall back on if those Goliaths get caught up in some, I don't know, spider mines or whatever.
Yeah. It looks like maybe RuBy's trying to reestablish himself, or he's making a push into that 8 o'clock, I guess would be base.
Right, yeah. I mean, he still needs to do some economic advantage. I think Leta is currently 2 bases ahead if both of these keep running in the 8 o'clock and, I don't know, 3 o'clock positions. So if that's the case, then he's going to be in such a lead, and now he's got a huge amount of dropships, and those are going to go and clean up those forces that were pressing on that 8 o'clock position, and afterwards I think he's going to bring those up and try to clear out one of the more established bases. In the meantime, I think Leta, if I was looking at it correctly, has +2 weapons. I haven't caught where RuBy is in terms of the upgrades, but if Leta's able to keep an advantage going up, then he will be able to extend that upgrade lead as well, and that upgrade is pretty critical. Like +2 on your tanks is, I believe that's the critical upgrade, where it only takes 2 shots to kill another tank as opposed to 3 shots. So Leta's in good position with that so far. And he's planning down even more factories. He's well off economically. You can see on this first-person view that he's still got like 6,000 minerals stored up in the bank. So he has as much economy as he could ever hope for at the moment.
Yeah, certainly.
And he is at a max army too.
Certainly, just trying to, if he takes any bases at this point, just taking them so that RuBy can't take them, basically.
Right, definitely, and to hold him on for later in the game. But now he's gonna be glad that RuBy's clearing out those forces in the middle. He's gonna throw even more forces with these dropships and clear out RuBy's army, and he's just gonna be able to produce back his entire army almost immediately. He has tons of factory, he's got tons of money in the bank, he's got tons of expansion, and he's gonna be starving out RuBy in the very near future, I think. RuBy really needs to make a move and take out one of these expansions. Leta's in just a great position, using those dropships to his excellent advantage, being able to defend all of his bases and critically taking out a couple of RuBys.
Right, and they're really they're front line dropships. He's not trying to do any sort of side attacks anymore. He's just going to use the dropships to shift his front line wherever he wants it to be. And again, looks like RuBy's can't even come out of his base.
Yeah, he's trying to go over and take that 2 o'clock expansion again. He was transferring SCVs, but those SCVs are getting eaten up, running into Leta's tanks. Maybe he was just sending those to help take some blows so that his tanks would survive longer, but did not help out that much. And Leta's readying the dropships for another attack on RuBy's army. RuBy has very little standing army right now, and obviously his economy is suffering a good bit too. He needs that 2 o'clock base, but he really doesn't have very much to defend against this. If Leta went and sent everything he had right now, I don't think there's... Oh, yeah, and just as I'm saying that, RuBy GG's. We don't have much time right now, so we're going to get going, but thanks for watching.